As looking for a connection. Okay. Okay, so for Instagram and for TikTok, shit, I might need another chair. No, but I do have a solution. What you see before you is this bench. What you see in my hands are your lessons for today. This is a standard martial art weapon. This is a practice pair of nunchucks. All right? You can hurt people with practice weapons as well. And if taught properly, a practice weapon is just as dangerous as a real weapon. This is unconventional, but gonna happen. So, minus that, these are kitchen utensils. This is a giant spork. And this is a cake pan thing. And there's another cake pan thing. And you have my brush, which is practically useless to some people. And you have my sharp comb and my normal comb. And you have a straw. Okay? So for all who don't know, those things are things that you can use to hurt or unalive people, just like my keys. Alright? So today's lesson is really quite simple. This is a bandana. Everything you see here except those nunchucks are conventional weapons. Conventional means they are convenient and easy access. No. Including the belt that I use to tie my hands for bound fighting. So what I'm about to show you, technically, is lethal ordnance. And my favorite, simple kitchen spoon. Alright? Now you may think that none of these things are dangerous because, you know, their everyday use is pretty solid. Alright? Spoon is the most dangerous utensil in your kitchen. It is not sharp. Some of them have little edges like this, which makes this spoon probably the most dangerous spoon in the house because it has this little tip so you can stab people. You can scoop out an eye with the spoon. You can do a lot of things with a spoon that you probably can't do with a knife. Alright? If taught properly, don't do that, by the way. This is just a really bad habit that I haven't broken myself out of. You know, rolling my spoon in the right hands. A spoon is very dangerous. But if you keep doing that and dropping it, you're the one in danger. Alright? See? Can't edit live TV, people. And now you see why you shouldn't do that. I'm going to get it right. Eventually. Actually, I had it right the first few times, and now it just doesn't want to cooperate. Alright, we're done. Let me stop trying to show off. Alright. So the next thing you have is a straw. I know you're thinking, look at it's flimsy. It's flimsy. Well, this is a flimsy and a stretchy straw. Let's go ahead and close the damn thing. Straw can go anywhere. It can be anything. You can pinch the tips and make it a sharp angle so that you can cut. You can cram it up somebody's nose as a direct shot to the brain. You know, you can use this thing to get behind people and choke them. There's a lot of fucking things you can do with a straw that you probably don't think you can do because it's not a convenient weapon, but it is a conventional weapon. It's also made out of plastic. Now, they do have paper straws. I do not know how strong paper straws are, but this plastic straw is pretty damn strong. Now, with that straw, without the stretchy part, you can fold this thing up, and it can cut people. You know, Make it into like a little itty bitty triangle. See that little triangle right there? You can jab somebody in the neck. Yeah. You can cut across their neck. You can do a lot of things with a straw. This is a regular comb. It's got normal teeth. By the way, because I promised my YouTubers that I would make this video, that's why I'm doing this, but I've decided to go live on Instagram instead of TikTok because TikTok has a little bit more boundaries and Instagram don't, and I have been blessed not to be banned on TikTok. I mean, Instagram. I've been banned on TikTok at least twice. But you get a good look at this comb. It's a normal ass comb. So I would have to hit you in the right angle to use this comb. So, as I always tell you guys when I tell you about martial arts, it's not how you hit, it's where you hit. That is probably the most important lesson you're ever going to need to know. Because just like any weapon, you can use the comb, as a cutting apparatus. Now again, like I said, this comb, it's not so much, The tips are round, they're not like sharp and shit like that. With this brush, that's a solid hit. If you've never been hit in the face with a brush before, it is not something that you want. I have been hit in the face with a brush before. I am not trying to relive that story. But my big sister hit me in the head with a brush once, right dead in the face, and broke it on my face. One of those goodies brushes. It didn't hurt me until like the next day when the bruise started appearing. But when it happened, there was so much damn adrenaline going through my body that I didn't feel a damn thing. But the next day when that bruise showed up, I could feel that son of a bitch. So for battering and hitting, the brush is great. Now these bristles, I can't get the damn red thing off. Okay, so this thing opens up and you can pull these damn things out. I'm gonna have to come up to the Instagram to show you guys. Alright, so these things come out. They can be used with the right angle. How diddly they are, probably not very much. But in the right hands, with the right person, the right amount of force, anything can be used as a weapon. Try to remember that. The butt of the comb, thrust in the sternum, backside. You're going to put enough force behind it that they're going to know they've been hit. So that's kind of what you're going to do. Now the hard part, I got to put this bitch back together. Now I will be honest with you. It's a hell of a lot better to just keep the brush together because it's going to be a solid when you hit. It's going to be, I'm so glad. I thought that shit was going to fly right out. But jab somebody, you're going to hit them in the sternum, you want to hit them in the throat, you want to hit them somewhere where you're going to do damage. Pressure points under the arms, into the elbow. It can be used accordingly and properly if taught how to use it properly. Smack, thrust, smack, thrust. Those are things you can do with this brush. They aren't going to be as fatal as the spoon or the straw because it's a brush. You're going to have to hit solid with this shit. Do not hit solid bone. You want to hit. That means it's push-up time. We won't be doing that right now, but that's push-up time. It's 2:30. So you don't want to hit like solid. You want to hit like here so you can fold them over. Boom, tuck them, then stab them in there with, I really need a training partner. So I can show you how it's supposed to work versus trying to do it on myself. But you don't want to hit solid. You want to hit where there's joints, maybe where there's like supraradial nerves, shit like that. You want to hit where places that are going to hurt people versus piss them off. You hit somebody in the face with the brush, it's more than likely you're going to piss them off and they're going to fuck your shit up. Where if you hit them in the fucking throat, they're not going to be doing too much because a person who can't breathe can't hurt you. Alright, so these little kitchen cake knives, they aren't as sharp as they look, but when it comes to cutting people, it's the force behind it versus the actual sharpness of the blade. Remember, there are a lot of things you got to understand about fighting. There's a lot of things you got to understand about martial arts. It's not so much as how hard you hit versus where you hit. It's It's not so much about strength and power as it is about directness when it comes to Kung Fu. Karate is more about power, Kung Fu is more about directness, and you will learn. You know, you can use these damn things just as good as you can use commas. If trained properly, these things are just as dangerous. And just like spoons, you know, they're very well rounded. And there's not a point on this thing that you can't use. You can use the butt or you can use the head. You know, either way it's gonna work. I'll give you guys a good look-see at these things. You probably have them in your kitchen. You know, you probably have them in the kitchen. I will, after I move the stool, I will do a martial art demonstration. Right now, I'm just showing you what you've got. Alright? This is a giant size spork. See that? See that? Smooth on the sides, but you have 2 points. So you can bust in an eye, in the throat, in the mouth. There's a lot you can do with this spork. You know, it's a whole lot. Now, I know you're thinking, what if we don't have that? What if all we have is our shirt? I forgot something. We'll go back to the shirt. My most dangerous thing besides that spoon is this comb right here. Alright? This comb pick combination, this is the sharpest side. This is the side I want to use on flush. This side, not so much. This side and this side, down here. This side and this side, not this side. And the reason is because these teeth are sharp, it's going to be easy for me to angle that thing. And any angle, maybe even that way, should do some damage to somebody. But again, remember, it's where you hit, not how hard you hit. Doing like this going across the throat, it's more than likely going to rip skin. And if it rips skin, it can probably tear deep. There are arteries here, so that's where your target is. You want to use this end, same thing, right here in the sternum or the throat. You know, you want to hit somebody somewhere where you're going to do damage. You want to go for joints because there's pressure points versus, you know, solid. Now, if solid's all you got, then you need to know where you're going on the solid. You know, you want to go where the veins are so that you can at least open them up and make them bleed a little bit. God, that sounds violent. I'm so sorry. But that's the way it is. Now, the average belt, thank God I'm throwing this straw in the trash. The average belt can be a weapon. It can be a whip. It can be nunchucks, which is why I'm going to the shirt in a minute. You know, this belt, it has a buckle. So, yeah, you can use your buckle as a weapon. You also can choke people out with your belt. You know, it's really all on who teaches you what, or how much attention you actually pay attention while you're in class. Now, if you're not paying attention in class, you're bound to get your ass beat, and that's on you. Understand, if you don't put that work in, you get in martial arts what you get out of martial arts. But what you put in martial arts, you get out of martial arts. If you're just there and you're only there to lose weight, good for you, and good luck on your weight journey. But if you're taking martial arts and you're taking it seriously for what it is the art of protecting yourself and others. And then the negative side of that is what I really wanted to say was, it is the art of hurting people to prevent them from hurting you. So let's say this is my shirt. I'm going to take the tip. I'm going to tie it into a knot. I'm going to do it on this side. I'm going to tie it into a knot. Now I have nunchucks. Alright? So I can strike and I can strike. If I really want to be nasty, I'll suck on this damn bitch and get it wet. And then I'll have more power to sting you with. Probably damage you with some unknown disease that I'm probably carrying. Now, for those who need reference, my squatty body, to still be done with the shirt, you can either tie knots in the sleeves, or what I recommend is that you tie a knot at the bottom. Just a regular old slip knot so you can get the shit back out. Now, normally, I would tell you to tie a knot in this end if your shirt's big enough. This shirt is not big enough because I'm a small guy. So just tie one knot should be proficient. Just make sure that when you do this, you don't do that because you're not hitting them with the knot. You want to hit them with the knot. Now, let me break this down for you so that you understand something really quickly. That's your distance. That's your striking distance. You don't get a lot of redos with the knot in the shirt thing. All right? Understand, there's a big difference between this and this. I got three different ranges here. That's close range, that's mid range, that's long range. When I extend my arm, now you understand this is long range. See how far that chuck comes out? This is mid range. This is short range. Understand that shit. This is short range. No matter how far you stick your arm out, that knot being right there at that shirt, that's it. So don't fuck up. Don't miss. So when you strike hard. Hit the throat, hit the sternum, hit the face, but if you hit the face, go back in. Don't stop swinging. That's the best advice I can give you. You're going to build up momentum and you're going to build up power the more you swing it. So if you're, especially if you don't know how to use your body, So let's start doing the body parts now on how to use these damn things. Since I have the shirt in my hand, we'll make that available first. So you're coming, now I got that, all right? There's more I can add. And then if I want to be an asshole, add in that kick. It's pretty much the same thing for all of them, but the smaller the vessel, the closer the combat. So that's a short hit, so I can, you want to be able to know your range. You also want to make sure that you know what the hell you're doing. Don't just look at these videos and say, well, if Echo Fang Grey Wolf can do it, I can do it. Echo Fang Grey Wolf has been training since he was fucking 6 years old. So, martial arts 7, but fighting and training, there's no difference. Not really. Same thing with this. You tie your knot in, you sting it out, sting it out, sting it out, smack, smack, then, boom. There's no knot in here, that's why it's flimsy. But, let's put the knot here. These things get hard to get out once they get wet, by the way. So, I'm not tying them exceptionally tight, but boom, boom. Now, a lot of people are going to laugh and say this is bullshit. And my Instagram just paused, which is okay. And my Instagram is back, which is also okay. The thing you got to understand about fighting is how fighting actually works. You have to understand how body mechanics work. Understand that this is not just a weapon, but it is your lifeline. You get behind someone, you can choke the shit out of them. So you want to separate and pull. You also, sadly, which I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway because I don't want to lie to you. When you get this shit wrapped like this, and you're pulling it, you want to put your knee in their back. Why do you want to put your knee in their back? Because you want to reel that shit until it pops. When you break their back or their neck, no one's going to fuck with you anymore. Which is again why I said I'm going to regret saying that, but it is the truth. So now let's work with the cake cutters. Alright? So you can hold them like this. You can hold them like this. You will figure out what works for you when that time comes. Block, strike. Block, strike. Now remember, these are metal. So, right angle these some bitches, and you're cutting somebody. Stab with these things, block, stab, stab, block, stab, stab. Understand that these are metal. The force behind them is going to pierce skin. It ain't about where you're going to cut them. It's about how you are going to cut them. Because you are forcing this thing in. So, where you cut them? Here, here. You're blocking somebody, it's going to be a lot difficult to block with these things than I make it look like. Alright? Because this basically It's like if you're fighting the size, only you're not whirling them around. You know, that's what this shit is. Better yet, if you're fighting with a knife, same concept. You know, you can go in this way, you can go in this way, you can switch that shit this way, you can go both ways. But understand, these still can be used to defend yourself and to hurt people. But you gotta target. You have to have targeting with these things. You know, here, here, inside there, you know, somewhere where you can do enough damage that they're gonna get the hell off you. You know, so you block and you stab, you block and you stab, and you try to gash across the throat. It's the force behind it that's gonna cut it. These are not sharp, but that force that you put behind it, when you across somebody, if they move, you know, recover. Not that difficult. But understand these things right here, man, they're just as dangerous as a knife. And you need to understand that. These are conventional, they are convenient, and you got one, so you need to use it because you don't have anything else. I understand how that shit works. Fighting is not a joke, it is not a game. And being able to fight with a simple utensil will save your ass. You can't always get to a knife. You're in your house and you don't have a knife. Let's say you just moved in and the only thing you have is that cake knife celebrating thing because you just moved in, you haven't gotten your furniture yet, you got this one tool because it came with the cake. You're still not defenseless. Hell, throw the goddamn cake at them. But you know, understand you gotta look for primary targets. Targets that are going to bleed. Nose, eyes, ears, throat. Those are the places that you want to strike with these things. It might not seem like they're going to work because of the shape of them. Hey, when your life is in danger, you think a spoon gives a fuck that you're eating off of it? No. Same exact movements with the spork. Here, strike, 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 you know, block, stab. You know, you'll figure out how the shit works. You're not going to do this though. See how it didn't work? See how it didn't work? Yeah, you're not going to do any of that shit. When this bitch is in your hand, it stays in your hand. You want to go for the eye, you want to go for the throat. This is a spork. So you can look at that and see. It's not very sharp, but you're going to be able to do lethal ordnance with it. Boom, you know, you've gone across their throat. I'm not going to cut up my throat to show you that the shit works. Stab him in the sternum. Boom, scoop and pull, because it's going in. It's going in. The thing about the human flesh, even Iron Body has a weakness. You just got to figure it out. But 9 times out of 10, nobody is made out of steel. If you bump into Colossus, that's about the time this shit that I'm showing you is completely useless. Alright? Because Colossus is a mutant and he turns into organic steel. Which, in a sense, you know, you're not going to penetrate steel with a tin fork. Now, for combs, it's still the same fucking movement. It's exactly the same. It's just like practicing with a knife. So the best thing I can tell you is get some knife training. Get some knife training. Boom, boom, boom. Get some knife training. Alright? Because that's going to help you maneuver your wrist and your hand like this is a knife. So with this, I don't have to really change my hands much. Alright? I can keep it here and I'm good all day. Because I can stab with this end and I can cut with that end. Understand? Let me make sure you guys can see this. Alright? So you can see this. I can stab with this end. I can cut with this end. My hand doesn't have to change much. Stab and cut. For you here on YouTube, stab and cut. This is a comb. But it's a very sharp comb. The teeth are sharp. The end is sharp. This is probably like the most non-lethal part is right here. But over here, I could do some serious fucking damage with this comb. And with the pick end, I can do just as much damage. So if I get far enough back, you probably can see it. But if I take this bitch up your nose, or in your eye, you're gonna fucking know it. You know? Do not think that you can't be killed with a comb. Or a brush. Because you can be. Taught by the right people, taught the right shit, taught the right thing. Anything that you touch as a martial artist should become a part of your skill set. Everybody always say that a weapon is an extension of myself. Yes and no. A weapon is an extension of your skill set. It's not an extension of yourself. You know how to work it as if you were Mr. Fantastic and your arms could stretch out. However, I say this all-heartedly. I say this with love and respect. Any weapon that you bring to a fight can be used against you just as well, except for one. The only weapon that can't be used against you if you have been trained right is you. You know, if you're throwing a punch and someone goes for the block, you throw a counter punch or a kick. Now, if they're pretty good with their shit and you're pretty good with your shit, it's gonna dwell on until one of y'all make a mistake. Because that's another thing that a lot of martial artists don't tell you. If you're both good with your shit, if you're both really good martial artists, say you're both good with Taekwondo, so you know the same shit that he knows, or he knows the same shit that you know. So for a lot of Taekwondo artists, you guys know this drill. Kick, put down, kick, put down, and then followed by two more. So it'll be kick, down, kick, kick. Okay? And 9 times out of 10, because my hips don't work, it's mid-range and then high range. And then if you're really good, you can do that spinning back foot high five thing. That shit that I no longer can do. So, you know, hey, I gotta keep it real. I can't do that shit anymore. I'm 48. I better not even attempt that shit anymore. Plus my hip replacement. So, understanding how your body works is the first thing you need to know about a fight in general. But understanding fight mechanics, understanding body mechanics, understanding what hurts you also hurts other people, and vice versa. You can be hurt. You can take an L if you're not careful. You know, it's just a matter of your teaching. Everyone teaches differently. Everyone has a different style. When you start teaching, you will not be teaching the same way that your sensei, sifu, shidoshi, maestre, whatever the fuck your teacher is called in whatever art you do. You're not going to teach their way. You're going to teach their style, but you're not going to teach their way because their style has evolved into your style. Your style will evolve into your student's style. Your student will correct their body mechanics to make sure that even if their kick doesn't look like your kick, superb, their kick's going to look good for them. And you as a teacher have to orderly understand that their body is not your body. Your kicks aren't going to look like their kicks. Their kicks damn sure aren't going to look like yours. Hell, their kicks might actually look better than yours. So don't get jealous. Just improve their mental stability. I hear it, but I do not see. There it is. Okay. Anyway, so understand. I guess I forgot to do about the spoon, right? All right. Oh, that had a spider. It still has a spider. Big spider. All right, so this spoon, and I did that. Don't do that. But this spoon, specifically, you see how it has a chip at the end? And that. See there and see there. All right, so for this spoon, let's give you some targeting. The back of the end, right there in the throat, anywhere here. And because of the way it's designed, you can definitely go across. Anywhere up in here, behind the ears, you can do some shit with the spoon. You can catch them under there with the round end as well. You can go across the round end as well, because it's going to be the force behind it versus the sharpness. It does not have any sharpness. You can scoop out an eye, take out an eye, boom, right in the eye, boom, right in the eye, shoot, right in the throat, shoot, right in the sternum. Same thing on both ends, boom. You just gotta know, having a little bit of knife training is gonna help you work a spoon. All right, you're not gonna do that, or you're gonna wind up cutting yourself, especially with the knife. But if you see how I roll this shit, you're never going to do that in a fight. You're not going to do that. But you are going to jab or swipe. Jab or swipe, jab, swipe. So, and this thing can stay in any side of your hand. It's just like that other comb that I had. It doesn't have to go from this way or this way in your hand. You can keep it in one side or the other. You can keep it this way or you can keep it this way. But you're not going to do this, okay? You're just going to stab and then change your wrist and then jab, stab, jab, Same damn thing. Or stab, jab, or jab, stab. You don't have to spin this bitch around to do that. However you have it in your hand is how you're going to use it. So if you block, strike, that's a strike to the eye or the throat. If it's a strike to the sternum, boom. But because this spoon is special, I want this in out because it has that dip and both of the corners are sharp. So where I'm going to use the spoon on that person's body, I'm going to be able to make sure that I penetrate their body. Alright? That sounds so sexual, I'm sorry. But because it is penetration, boom, I'm going for an eye. I'm going for an eye versus a throat due to the fact that I'm not really trying to kill you. I'm just trying to stop you from hurting me. So I'm going to go for the eye. But in the event that I blind you and you still keep coming, I have more options now. I have another eye and I have a throat. And because this spoon has that dip, I have lethal ordnance training to just keep going versus boom and stop, I blind you. But what if you're one of those people, what if it's only temporary? I didn't pull your eyes out, I just blind you. I didn't completely blind you, but I blind you enough to stop you for the fight. Well, some people don't stop, which is why lethal ordnance is sometimes necessary. Now, let me make this 1,000% clear. Everything I just showed you can hurt people severely, so under no circumstances whatsoever are you to try this shit. It does not need to be battlefield tested unless you want to go to prison for the rest of your life, which, because of what I'm saying right now, just cleared me of any indication because I showed you what to do. I didn't tell you to go off and do it. And my Instagram just paused. And my Instagram is back. I'm going to take this as a sign that I probably need to stop now. So, if you're going to learn lethal ordnance, first, find a fucking professional. Preferably anything that I just showed you, you want to go talk to an actual military vet, preferably a Green Beret who was taught how to do shit from the 70s and the 80s. Because once you got to the 90s, the military got a little bit more softer. So you want to go talk to a Green Beret or a Special Forces person because they'll be able to teach you a whole lot better shit than I can teach you. I was taught this shit by a fucking Green Beret when I was like 15, 16 years old. Alright? You even taught me how to kill people with my pinky. So, me being taught it doesn't mean I'm teaching it properly. I'm just teaching you what I was taught. It also means that, as I said before, you can fuck up without even trying. So don't be trying this shit because you might wind up injuring somebody that you care about just because you saw this video. So again, do not attempt any of this shit that I've just showed you. It is very important that you know that this shit can work, but it's also very important that you do not attempt it because you're going to throw away your freedom. Now, in review, you have a spoon. It is the most dangerous utensil in your house. Then you have these cake knives. You have this spork. You have this belt. You have a straw. You can kill people with a straw. You can kill people with one of those football pieces of paper, when you fold it up into a triangle. If I remember, I'll make a video about it. But, yeah, you would be the origami killer. Like, straight up and down, you would be the origami killer. You have this brush. You can do damage. You could possibly kill somebody. But, to be honest, I'm just going to say you can do damage because it's a fucking brush. Alright? This comb, same concept because it's a regular comb. It's not based on sharpness. So you would have to be pretty damn good with your strength and your cut to do harm. My Instagram just paused again. Okay, so finally you have this comb / pick. This is probably the most dangerous thing that I have in my hand next to my spoon. And the reason why is because this thing has teeth on this side and it has those three down there. Those three down here means I don't have to change my hands much, alright? So if I stab and then cut across your throat, so if I hit you here and then I cut across your throat, it's only going to take 2 motions. So jab and then stab across your throat or stab and then slice. Now if I poke you with the flat side, that would be this side, then I may have to do some maneuvering. So if I do this, now I have to pull back and then do this, or here, flip and then do that. That's a lot of work that I ain't trying to do. So right off the bat, when my hand is like this, if I block, I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to cut again. Because it's a whole lot easier for me to do that than to try to do this, then pull it back, and then this, and then do this. Because once I do this, you're probably going to be on me like hotcakes. So why am I going to be dumb enough to let that shit happen? You know, fight smarter, not harder. And finally, you have your shirt. You can take your shirt off, tie a knot in the bottom, and you have nunchucks. So the only thing you're not going to do, because you only tie one knot in it, you're not going to do this and switch to the part that doesn't have a knot. You might want to unlock that because I'm going to be coming back through that door. Excellent. Anyway, with your shirt, boom, you can strike, 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 but you want to make sure that it's the knot in your shirt that's doing that. So you're working this. That's what you're doing. And you're going to do that with your shirt. So basically, don't laugh at my squatty body. I know I need to hit the gym. So again, basically, you got your shirt. Now, if it's taking you this long to tie off your shirt, you're probably dead. Just in case anybody wants to be a smart ass. So you get it tight. Get that slip knot in there so that you can tie it back. And you got that knot at the end of your shirt. You want it at the very end. Now, if your shirt is long enough, you can put in 2 knots. I don't recommend it because it's really not necessary. Guys coming, boom, you got it. There's nothing else you really need to worry about because this knot's going to do its damage. Now, if you want to be nasty and there's a water puddle, splash it in the water puddle. Now you've got an extra bit of sting. Okay, I need to explain that before I end the video. Water increases the impact on most hits, alright? Which is another reason why in a lot of boxing they dry your sweat off. Because a lot of that sweat on your face stuff, it doesn't help you. If anything, it hurts you more than it helps you. I know everybody says that's probably a myth. Every myth and legend has some truth to it. Try to remember that. But if you're using that shirt technique, you want to wet that knot. You want to wet that knot because it's going to increase the impact on who you hit. Okay? Now, if you don't have the means to wet that knot, don't worry about it. It's still a knot, and it's still going to do damage. So you want to be able to make sure that you're doing the proper damage at the proper time so that you don't get hurt. That being said, I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. I'm going to end this YouTube and this live Instagram, and I thank you guys for being there. I am going to do another video for YouTube.